Hi, I'm Pete, and this is a WitEden unboxing. Well, it's no secret that I'm a big fan of the Mixup Plus series from WitEden. I really enjoy these puzzles. I enjoy solving them. I made a series of videos about these puzzles, and I have accumulated all of the members of this puzzle family. So when the WitEden Mixup series was announced on the Twisty Puzzle Forum, I jumped at a chance to get in on a pre-order. So what I did was I just pre-ordered the entire set. So it's all 4 of the puzzles that they've put out. And I got this straight from WitEden. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit as I start the unboxing here. This is my second order from WitEden. It didn't take very long at all. It only took 2 weeks and 2 days. And when you consider that one of those days was a national holiday here in Canada, that's pretty good. It came EMS, which I'm not too familiar with EMS, but I guess they use the National Postal System. So here in Canada, Canada Post, and let's see if I can get this EMS wrapper off here. And they, so it arrived very quickly. Now, this is my second order from WitEden, and both of them actually went very well. I know some people in the Twisty Puzzle Forum have had problems ordering directly from WitEden, so I was taking a bit of a chance. The main problem I encountered was that after I paid by PayPal, it said failed. So the PayPal transaction went through, but according to WitEden, the transaction had failed. But it turns out that that's a limitation of their system. I did send them a note, and they responded promptly to say that indeed that happens, but everything was in order. So that's it. Now, I could have got this sent by China Post, but it would have taken quite some time, and paradoxically, it was actually quite a bit more expensive to pick Canada Post over courier. So I don't really know why that is. So anyway, I'm happy they're here, and I'm really looking forward to this set. Now, Oskar made the first 3x3 Mixup Cube, and I noticed it on WitEden's website. They're saying that the 3x3, they're calling it WitEden and Oskar. So that's nice, I guess. And then the rest of them are just called by whatever whatever the size of the puzzle is and the number of layers. So yeah, this was a set of 4, and I don't normally get things in sets of 4, but I like the Mixup Plus so much that I thought, let's just take a chance and get all of the Mixup series all at once. Okay, so that's the background, and here we go. This is marvelous here. So I have 4 Mixup puzzles. Now, here's the little clue here. Let me see if I can get some better light. So this says WitEden and Oskar 3x3 Mixup. So that must be the actual 3x3, and so there's the logo, and it says something in Chinese on here. So if somebody would be able to translate it, though some of it's in green, so I don't know if you can even read that. It says WitEden and Oskar Mixup Magic Cube. Okay, Magic Cube, and WitEden and Oskar. I'm just going to take a chance and say that may actually say Mixup Magic Cube, but who knows? Maybe it says something else. All right, what else do we? What else? So, and then it shows all the different ones: 3x3, 4x4, 3x3x4, and 4x4x3. And model number 1. And what else? Oh, warning: do not put any parts in the mouth or choke on. Well, you certainly want to choke on it. Don't dismantle by force. So, and there's some pictures of them in a somewhat scrambled state. So that's what you get, and here's the box. I'm just gonna go ahead and open that one up, and there we go. Oh, this is This is very interesting. It's big. I think it might be, I guess I don't know what I was expecting, but it is bigger than I expected. So it has Oscar's signature on it, and it has a WitEden logo, and the typical colors here. I see a little bubbling under the stickers, so don't know. I guess that'll work out. So now, what is the mix-up part of this? Okay, it turns reasonably well. Might need just a little bit of silicone oil lube, and let's see. So if I get this straight, can I do this? Ah, yes. So there you go. So there's your mix-up part of it, and so that's something you can't do on a regular puzzle. Now, does it mix up in the other direction? It does. So that's the puzzle that we got. So this is going to be great. I think that this is probably, I'm just going to guess here, but I'm thinking it's probably going to be just slightly easier than the Mix-Up Plus. I think it's probably going to be very similar to the Mix-Up Plus. The difference, of course, is that the Mix-Up Plus has these little inner layers here. So, but who knows? Maybe there'll be some surprises here. But I've never solved the Mixup Cube, and partially that was one of the reasons why I had so much fun solving the Mixup Plus for the first time. It really was quite a challenge. So that turns quite well. I'm pleased with the way it turns. The quality is up to snuff. Some people were commenting on the price of these, and I think that they do compare to the Mixup Plus in price, and so the Mixup Plus series, the quality is just phenomenal, and so I think that these should be in that same order. Now I do hear a bit of spring noise, so that bothers me, so I'll have to fix that, but no problem. Okay, so that was the Mixup 3x3x3, the WitEden and Oskar Mixup 3x3x3. Very nice. So now the other variants, there's going to be one other variant, which is a 3x3x4, and that's the one that I have here. So let's just go ahead and take a look at that. Now for people who are box collectors, I'm really sorry about that. And there we go. So this is the 3x3x4. I see that center sticking up just a little bit, but let's see, how does that... Okay, I think that's just kind of the way it goes. Well, maybe not. Anyway, we'll see. Okay, so again, probably would benefit from just a little bit of lube, and definitely some lube on the springs because I can hear them a little bit. Now, there's a bit more friction on this one. I guess it makes sense because there are more layers. So what we have then is a mix-up in one direction and a split mix-up in the other direction. So that is going to be really, really cool, because you can do really, really funky things like that. Okay, so I'm really, really looking forward to playing with these and solving all of these. I think that they will be just a little bit easier than the Mixup Plus, but certainly they'll be fun puzzles in their own right. Okay, so that was the split one, and now these next ones should be variations on 4x4 mix-ups. So the way WitEden does things, I think, yeah, is they will name it by the two main dimensions. So the 3x3 and by 4, and so this one's going to be should be the 4x4x4. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Yes, indeed. So you'd be forgiven for looking at this and thinking it's just a 4x4 with some wide edge pieces, because it really does look like that, doesn't it? As a matter of fact, I think I wonder if you could just solve it like a regular 4x4. So this turns very nicely. Okay, I like this, the sticker colors certainly. The stickers on this one seem to be a bit better than they were on the 3x3x3. But what makes this, of course, unique and an interesting challenge is the fact that you can do these 45-degree turns, and you can put the edges, swap edges and centers. And now you're not just limited to doing 2 layers on the Mixup Plus, sorry, the Mixup. You can do 1. Okay, and so you can get that kind of interesting stuff going on there. And yeah, and it gets chaotic very quickly. So, and all right. So there we go. And yeah, this is just it turns okay. It's a little bit of catching there, but I think some breaking in and possibly some lube will help a lot. And I can definitely need some springs that need some lube. Okay, well that's great. This is really nice. And now the next one is going to be a variant on, so it'll be a 4x4x3, I think. Yes, 4x4x3. So we're expecting 2 split layers and then 1 3x3 layer. Okay. So there we are. So there's the 4x4x3. Okay. And okay, whoops. Okay, that turns nicely in that direction. This one seems to be turning a little better than the other one. Yeah, so some bubbles under the stickers right here. I don't know if you can see that, but you know, I mean, I can push those out, but it's, you know, that's the sort of thing that you get with really cheap puzzles, and these are not cheap puzzles, so I'd sort of rather not have that to work on with my puzzle. I don't mind taking care of some, you know, noisy springs or whatever, but that's, yeah, would like to see better stickering. All right, other than that, it's great. A little catchy here on this side, and but I think we'll just put some lube on it and it should be fine. Okay, well that's my WitEden Mixup Cube unboxing, and yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun to play on these. What have I done? Yeah, okay. So I managed to swap some edges and stuff around there. Let's see if I can fix it. So yeah, now as to which one should you get, if you're getting just one, that's tricky. I mean, this is a classic right here, the 3x3x3. But I would say that if you want the most, get the most bang for your buck, I would probably, if you could only get one, I'd probably look at the 4x4, just because you can, of course, if you don't split the layers, you can just solve it like a 3x3, but you also get the extra 4x4 functionality. But they're all good looking puzzles, and yeah, so that's it. Now it's time for some follow-up on the WitEden Mixup Cubes that I unboxed. And, you know, my initial impressions were you know, guardedly favorable. And I think that my impressions haven't changed too much. I have one little concern, which I'll talk about. The 3x3 wonderful puzzle. It's you know, it's still catching a little bit, but it is breaking in quite nicely, and based on my experience with the Mixup series, it should be fine. I took it all apart, lubricated the springs, and I loosened the tension because it came from the factory pretty tight. The 4x4 is probably the one that's I'm most concerned about. it came from the factory quite tight, and it was very, very catchy, especially the outer layers. As you can see, the outer layers catch on the inner layers. In fact, they catch on the face pieces, the centers. Now, I took this apart as well, and I put lubricant on the spring so there's no spring noise, and it's working quite nicely now. But the reason it's working quite nicely is that I've tightened the screws right back down to the way they were from the factory, which is as tight as they'll go. So there's very, very little flex. And the reason for that is that when I was trying to do a demonstration solve earlier on video, and I had the screws quite a bit looser, I actually had a pop. And when this pops, a lot of pieces go flying. So that's not a good thing. And I really, I think I understand what it is, that the mechanism catches on the bottom of these center pieces. And what it'll do is it'll drag it along. Now if it's tight, then there's really no place for that piece to go, so either the catch is resolved or else the layer just jams and you have to wiggle a little bit. The problem is when the screws are loosened, then there's enough give in the center, which is holding down the mechanism, to which this center is, the center, I don't know what you call it, underneath the exterior centerpiece. There's another regular looking center. And what happens is, if there's enough give, then this centerpiece will actually tear away from the center and pull out all of the mechanism pieces inside there, and just everything goes flying. I haven't had a pop with the screws down as tight as they'll go, and it does turn reasonably well. It's a bit more catchy though with the screws down. So it's whatever you I guess you want to do. I haven't had any problems with it since I adjusted the tensions. You can see that it does, it gives you the impression it's gonna pop, but it doesn't. It just rotates the center a little bit, but then there's no place for the center to go. So that's it. I like the 484. I've solved it quite a few times now, and the only time I did have a problem with popping, as I say, was when I loosened the screws. But just so you know, that is possibly an issue. Now, the other two, I haven't done anything with them. So they still have their factory spring noise and their factory setting, and it seems quite catchy, right? But actually, I've done a demonstration solving this, and you'll see that in a little bit, and it works just fine. Actually, I've done quite a few solves on this, and it's working fine. And so I've left this in its factory condition to see how it breaks in compared to the ones that I lubricated. And the spring noise seems to be going down a little bit as well. But you can hear it, and you can sort of see it catching a little bit. Of course, with such big center pieces, it doesn't really matter if it catches. It's not going to break anything. So that's the breaking in part. So a little catchy, but I distinctly remember having to be very, very careful and gentle with these mix-up series, especially the 4-layer ones. So the Mixup Plus. So, and of course they've just broken in and they work great. But I remember. So maybe that's the way it is. So I'm gonna take a moment to show you the mechanism, and I will say that I started by I was pulling the pieces off because of the way they're put on there, and I think that's probably okay to do. I'll zoom in on that and show you what it all looks like. There we go. So there are these carriers, and they're actually split on this puzzle, and there's sort of a long slot on each side, and then these blade-like pegs that go in there. All right. So that's fine. So that edge came right off, and when I first started doing this, the big center, which is held on in a similar way, came off as well. But because I was concerned about the center sticking out, I pushed down on it really hard. And so when I was pulling this off before to demonstrate it, a big chunk of the mechanism came out as well. So I'm going to use a screwdriver. Personally, I don't really like this method of taking it off, but I just don't want to you know, have to put this puzzle back together again. So yeah, I don't know. It's just there's no good way to take this off. It has to do with the fact that the tension now is not set all that hard. There's enough slack in the mechanism that if I pull too hard on this, it's going to pull some pull some of the underlying mechanism out. Oh. So bottom line is I'm not going to be taking this apart very often, especially this one, because there's just no way to get it to screw without taking some of these out. Actually, I think now that I have that out, I could probably, what could I do? Could I spin it? Yeah, I could probably, I don't know. Anyway, once I get an edge out, I can definitely get at the mechanism. So anyway, it's important that I get one of these off just to kind of show what's under there. Okay. Oh. And I still managed to pull some stuff out anyway. So there you go. I still managed to break it as careful as I was trying to be. I didn't break it. I just see that this blade is just is really firmly attached to the carrier. Okay, so there you go, and there's a carrier, and so these are just some of the little pieces. There's 48 of these inside here. I think it's 48. It's a lot, and they go flying when something gets pulled out of place. They go flying. So I was trying to not do this. But anyway, it's I guess it's worthwhile now because you get to see that the centers are split as well. It's the same structure, and here, let me just turn that. And so this could be a 4x4 if you just had different edges. And in fact, the 4x4 does have different edges. So if I turn this and see if I can get some strong light in here. You should see what's happening with the mechanism, that these pieces on some of the other puzzles are actually catching on the centers, and then what it does is it causes the center to pull out and take out some of the internal mechanism. So that's how these pops can happen. Now the screw is just down there. You have to take the center off. Some people were asking me about the centers not being down, kind of jutting out a little bit. And what it is two things. One is you got a very big chunk of plastic that's only anchored in the middle, so it does tend to kind of float around a little bit, as you can see. But it doesn't stick out that much. But right out of the box, some of them weren't squeezed down as much as they could go. So that's so those are your two explanations for this center sticking out. But yeah, taking these apart, I do not recommend it. That's the bottom line. It's really not. You know, if you leave the screws loose enough to make it easy to reassemble, then it's also easy for the parts to fly out. And if you have the screws down tight enough to make it hard to for the parts to fly out, it's brutal to reassemble. Okay, I think what the answer is to take that little piece out, put this in. I've done this enough times that I think I actually have a technique now, which explains maybe why I didn't get to those other two puzzles, as I just sort of ran out of patience of assembling and reassembling these little pieces. So, and then this one goes in. So there's 4 pairs of these around every center, so you can sort of work out how many how many of these little tiny pieces there are. And of course there's the whole 4x4 type mechanism and underneath all of us. These outer mechanism is just kind of attached to the inner mechanism. So it's all very clever. And one of the questions that was asked of me, and now I managed to get that piece in upside down. There we go. All right, so that's assembled. I'm not going to do that again. So yeah, so you go ahead and you put this down. Now the question people asked is, well, if I have you know, if I have these and maybe I have one of these, can I go ahead and build these two? Now I think that the answer is yes, but I'm going to qualify that. I'm pretty sure it's yes. So for example, you'd need this piece. Well, you'd have it from here, and you need this piece. Well, you'd have it from here. The reason I want to qualify my answer is that you can't just take, for this I can pull the edges off and the centers, but on this one it appears to me that the edges are actually glued down to the carrier down below. So you have to basically spread it open, take the screw out, take it all apart, and then take the piece attached to the carrier underneath. And then you could do it. Now I managed to get a couple of them off, and it looks like basically there's some residue on the blade, and there's some residue around the socket. So it looks like someone, if they didn't use glue that failed on a couple of them, then maybe they used some you know, some other agent, like I don't know. Do they make Loctite for plastic bits like this? I don't know. But it looks like something was put on there to make them stay on there a little better. Which makes sense, because there's only one blade now holding these pieces on. These ones are held on by kind of post-like things. So that's what I know about the mechanism. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you could just get to and mix and match, but you got to totally disassemble these things to do it. It takes a long time. It's a real pain. And you know, if you like it and you find it fun, then that would probably be, you know, a good thing to have. A puzzle within a puzzle, right? Personally, you know, this is why I ended up getting like the wormhole cube, and you know, because I was the variants of the wormhole, because I was tired of taking my wormhole apart and my Mixup Plus to make the wormhole 2. So that's what we got here. So you can see that center, I pushed it down as far as it'll go, and it seems to be kind of flush there, but because there's slack in the mechanism, it can tilt around and do its thing. So all right, yeah, so the rest of these are, this one has not had any work done to it from the factory, so it's turning a little rough. The inner layers are fine, but that outer layer is just it's just really rough and scratchy, and all it is just those bits of the mechanism rubbing up underneath the pieces there. But because the screws are down so tight on this, it's not going to pop out. So I decided to just leave these two and let them break in naturally. This one's already breaking in quite well. I've solved it quite a few times now. It's a lot better than it was. It was actually just as rough as that other one. So you can see then that there is, you know, some break-in happening. So maybe that's the answer, and maybe I wasted my time by opening those up and trying to put some lube in there. Who knows? So that's everything I know about the Mixup series. That mechanism looks very versatile. Yeah, I can see a lot of people using it for mods and things like that. I think it would be, you know, probably going to see a lot of these puzzles used for mods. I think. I don't know. They are kind of pricey to be chopping up, but anyway, I think it would be quite an interesting thing. To be pretty easy to, you know, you have a way of attaching external pieces to the mechanism, and so it'd be interesting to see what people come up with. All right, well, that's it for my first impression. So, you know, I'm glad I got them. I wish the 4x4 was turning a little better, but I have hopes for it. I would not hesitate to suggest the 3x3 and the 3x3x4 if you're willing to be patient and and turned carefully, then certainly the 4x4. I think it's worth it, but it definitely has quite a lot of breaking in. And then this one as well. Well, that's it for the WitEden Mixup Cube unboxing and impressions video. Now, if you stay tuned after this sign off, you'll see some demonstration solves of these puzzles as bonus content. In the meantime, if you have some questions, something I didn't answer, some suggestions, comments, please leave feedback on this video. I really appreciate it, and I really look forward to reading and knowing what you have to say. Well, that's it for me. Thanks for watching. So just to close out this unboxing and first impressions, I'll show some demonstration solves of the mix-up puzzles. And so this is the 3x3 mix-up puzzles, the easiest one of them. The strategy I use to solve this is pretty well identical to the Mixup Plus, but there's a whole lot of stuff you don't have to do because of the plus, the inner edge pieces. You don't have to worry about those. So a good scramble on these is, yeah, have a good a 3x3 scramble, or else you're not going to have much of a solve, a challenge, because once you start doing the mix-up, then it quickly becomes kind of bandaged, and you really can't separate the pieces, at least on the bigger puzzles. This one, I guess you can still kind of, you still have some freedom here. Turns really well when it's in the kind of the discombobulated state here. So there you go. So there's my mix-up, and oops, I'll just give it a couple more turns because I sort of okay, there we go. Alright, so there's the mix-up, and let's get started. So you know, this is just a demonstration solve, so I'll just go ahead and solve, I guess. And yeah. So what I'm doing now, just to explain, is putting it back into cuboid form, in the cubic form. And always a fun step to do. Now I'm just gonna get this edge sorted out. It was in, but it was just misoriented. Now we have the classic single center to swap, and one of those things that could really take a while to sort out if you are not familiar with the mix-up series. So now we're back into cubic form. And if I was really eager and I wasn't thinking straight, I'd go ahead and try and solve it as a 3x3 cube. But of course we have to get our centers back, this being a mix-up cube. So the yellow and the white have to be opposite each other. So we just do a 45-degree turn. So now I have my centers, and I'm just going to go and make sure that the rest of my centers are right. B-O. G-R. Okay, so now I can do my my solve of the cubic puzzle. Okay, and yeah, so the probabilities of getting a flipped edge or a flipped swapped edges, I think they should be 0.5 for both cases, but I've been getting a lot more flipped edges than swapped edges, so I'm not really sure if it's just luck or if there's something else, some other property of this puzzle. So, but that's the beauty of puzzling. Oops, it sort of can look at things and try and figure out patterns. Okay, Getting there. Okay. So yeah, so there's no test solve to do here, but I see we have our flipped edge. So we'll go ahead and do the flipped edge algorithm. And okay, and so then that flipped our edges back properly. And now I can just go ahead and do my standard last layer technique. Now you see the puzzle is working reasonably well. It's a little catchy, but not too bad anyway. Yeah, this will break in, I'm sure. Okay, a little bit of a catch there. That's one of the ones sort of on the wide faces. Okay, so we do have the swapped edge, so I got both parities this time, and this is actually opposite swapped edges, which is kind of cool. Normally they're adjacent swapped edges. It doesn't matter. And so it's interesting. This is the first time I've gotten both of them on since I've been solving it, and I've solved quite a few of them. I should have seen it by now. So the algorithm to do that is fairly long, and instead of committing it to memory, I have it written down here on my iPad. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. So it's just this only happens on the 3x3. It actually will happen on the 4x4, of course, but it's a mix-up. The 4x4, we just would use a cuboid face swap algorithm to get out of this, but we have to use a mix-up strategy to get out of it on here. So the algorithm is okay, and so then we repeat that 3 more times. Twice. 3 times. 4 times, and then there's a last little bit. And you can see why I want to follow something, because it's a fairly long algorithm and it's easy to lose your place. I suppose if you did it often enough, it would be committed to memory. Now this does trash a corner, but yeah, it's pretty straightforward to put it in. On the mix-up, it trashes all the inner edges, and that's why the inner edge pieces, and that's why we have to do the test solve, because otherwise otherwise we'd have we just have to re-solve the puzzle. Okay, I don't know quite what I did with that, but I think I made it be losing my my touch on those last layer algorithms. Alright, so now we're going to do a 3 cycle, and we don't expect to have any problems here. It looks like I'm going to have to do this twice, but I'll just do the edge 3 cycle here. And there we go. So solved. So, you know, a bit more to it. Now, you saw the most extreme case. Most of the time you'll have just one of those cases where a flipped edge or a swapped adjacent or swapped opposite edges. In this case, I had both of them, so I had the full the full show. And so that's the 3x3. Next up on the demonstration solves is the 4x4 Mixup Cube. Now this is a little more catchy than the 3x3, and right now I have the tensions set as pretty much as tight as they'll go, because you know, when I had the tensions looser, I did have some pops when I was trying to solve it, which is not really something, clearly something you want, and especially this type of puzzle has so many moving parts. But with the tensions tight, I haven't had any problems with it. So, and that is the way it comes from the factory. It has definitely improved since I got it. It's a lot less catchy, but you know, it's certainly going to take some breaking, and it's the outer layers that they catch. Of course, it's important to get a good inner layer scramble when you're working with these puzzles before you start doing the mix-up turns. Otherwise, everything will get bandaged together. Now, it is possible right now just to do a double layer turn. What I find is kind of fun and interesting to make some slice moves like this, and I don't know if I'm actually making it any more complicated or not. Yeah, it's just kind of I think it makes it kind of interesting to do that before I do the 45-degree turns. There we go. Alright, and now we can start doing the mix-up turns. And at this point now, these layers don't move at all. So this is probably the longest of the mix-up solves. It doesn't take very long at all. It basically it reduces to solving a 4x4 fairly quickly. But you know, it's fun, and you know, this is the sort of puzzle that I'd pick up if I was you know, wanted to have maybe a little more of a solve. You know, maybe I'm going to be waiting in an airport for an hour or two. I could have this, and then I'd have a couple of you know, I could do a few solves while I was waiting. Yeah. Let's see here. Oops, just gotta get my slice layer misaligned there. Well, let's call that good. Let's call that scrambled. So this is a demonstration solve, but you know, I can still explain what I'm doing. The goal is sort of two goals here. But one of the goals is to get, of course, as much in as possible. But the other goal is to get the slices turning again. It's kind of important. Now, if I had two of these, yeah, I do have two of these fully formed centers, so I'm going to use those and put those fully formed centers in, just because that gets those out of the way. And now I end up with a bunch of sort of half centers. And my strategy for dealing with that, first I have to get the these middle, get one middle layer moving. Okay, so for that I'm going to have to turn that corner, straighten that corner out. There we are. And I can turn this, straighten this one while I'm at it. It just visually makes it a little easier to see where I'm going. Okay, so we have that, and this I can just put that on top. And now this this slice turns, and actually I've already have one of these full centers, and now I have these two half centers. And what I'm going to do, because they're across from each other, is I'll take advantage of using the 4x4 edge swap algorithm to stack them up. Okay, so I got that, and in the process it also creates another edge in case we didn't have one. So that's my strategy. That's how I go about putting these away. So I got one back there, and yeah, so this is a bit more technically challenging. You know, it's a little harder to do when you're not really, you know, if you're not thinking or whatever. You just you gotta sort of think about it. So now I have this one and this one, so I can use my little trick then to join them. There are other ways to join them. For example, these two are 180 degrees apart, so you can actually join them that way. So that is another way to do it. It just really depends on the circumstances that you have. So there we go. So these ones are opposite, and we will just use that fun little 4x4 algorithm. That is such a handy algorithm. I use it quite a lot. So there we are. So we have the one, and this is the classic single edge, single center swap, and the response to that is this, which gives us back two edges and two centers. Now we're back to the 4x4, and because it's a 4x4, we don't have to worry about the centers because we're actually going to be building those centers. So that's what I'm going to do here, and it's yeah. So there's a bit of a difference because I'm actually going to be building up the centers and locating them myself, and so this is just it's just a 4x4 solve, but you know it's still fun. And remember, we still do have the various parity cases. Now you see, as the face was turning there, it was a little bit locky, catchy. I remember the Mixup Plus 4x4 was like that, so I'm not too worried about it. And I recognize that this is a fairly complex mechanism, but you have to understand, if you're going to get this puzzle, that you really have to be very delicate with turning it. It doesn't pop. It has not popped on me when I've had the tensions tight, but it has popped on me when I backed off the screws a turn or so. But it's turning really well now, so I really don't have any good reason to change the tensions on the screws. You know, it was quite catchy with the screws down, and I'll actually I guess I can demonstrate that on the other puzzle that I haven't adjusted. Okay, so I have all my faces done now, and I set the faces so I don't have to position them. And now I'm just going to do the standard edge pairing, and I do a technique where I do two at a time, basically. Now on here, I'm not going to do like a free slice or anything like that. I think it would be just a little too confusing, and you know, I'm not going for time. Anyway, I do free slice on the bigger puzzles. Okay, what am I looking for here? Oh, there it is, right literally under my thumb. Okay, so yeah, so it's kind of a fun little interlude where you get to do a 4x4 sort of in the middle of this other puzzle. But there's some more solving to do. Okay, I guess I should. Yeah, there is some more solving to do that specific to the mix-up. So it's not like it's over quite yet. We just have to get through the edges here. Now it's funny that I'm doing these edges this way, and the fact is that this method actually doesn't work on the other variant, the other 4x4 variant, because you only have one 4x4 layer. So you actually have to use quite a different method, and it's kind of fun actually, because it challenges you. So it's a bit like having a bandaged cube or something like that to solve. Okay, alright, so we have a nicely, we have two edges. There's symmetrical here, two split edges, and unpaired edges, so we're just going to use the algorithm. Yeah, it's definitely getting better, and I'm sort of pleased that it is improving this puzzle. The catchiness is definitely reducing, and of course there's an element of learning as well. So now I'm just doing the standard 3x3 solve, a portion of it, and I don't have to worry, because of the 4x4, I don't have to worry about the orientation of the centers like I would on the other two variants, which have split centers. So I have my bottom cross in, and I guess now it's time to get into the solve here. Alright, there we are. And let's see. Alright. Let's okay. Yeah, so you just really have to turn, not super gently, but just with some care. And it's like the Mixup Plus 4x4, really. Alright, so I've got my first 2 layers done now. You see what we have here is the flipped edge parity. So so we'll go ahead and take care of the flipped edge parity. It's the same algorithm that that we use on the Mixup, and okay, and that just flipped the edge over some, yeah. And that solves it. And there is a redundant move, I think, in that algorithm, but I think it's the way it was written was just to ensure that people, you know, did things a certain number of times to just make it easier to remember. Let's see. All right, I guess I don't know my. I guess I don't know my Soon very well. It's funny, you know, you don't do 3x3 for a while. I've been doing all these icosahedrons, and yeah, there was a little bit of a catch. Not too bad. Okay, so now this we may actually have the we may have the flipped edge parity as well, which would be both of them. And I say that because that's typically one of the signs that you're going to get it if you have to do 2 of those 3 cycles. Well, maybe not. Well, let's see. Let's see what we got. I'll just keep it a surprise here. And oh, look at that, we got away with it. So there you go. So the other parity would be the swapped, either these edges or those edges swapped. But okay, so that's a 4x4. Managed to get through that, but you know, it's just a little sticky, but I have high hopes for this anyway. So this is the demonstration solve of the 3x3x4. I really like this variant. It's of all of the variants, it turns really well, and it's quite a bit more than just doing a regular 3x3. I think it's a little harder actually than the 2 4x4. The other 2 4x4, the 4x4x4 and the 4x4x3. I think it's a little harder just because you have these this slice layer. You only have one slice layer, and it creates all sorts of havoc in the solve, which I think is kind of fun. Now, before I go ahead and do the mix-up scramble, what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this the slice layer because I think that gives quite a nice yeah, quite a nice challenge when it's done that way, and just to kind of, you know, add some interest to it, because once we start doing the actual mix-up part of the solve, then this that slice layer becomes bandaged, and it doesn't change anymore. Position of the pieces don't change. So go ahead and do that. Okay, well, I think we can call this scrambled, and here we are. And doesn't that look cool? Looks fun. So so I'm just gonna go ahead and solve this. And my strategy is pretty much the same as it would be with the mix-up. There's just a few things that I do differently, actually, that I do differently because of the that slice layer. It just but pretty much just a bit more fooling around with the slice layer, I guess, is what I would say. And yeah, this one turns really well, which is nice because, you know, then you can kind of move. And really, it turns so well that it makes me wonder if the right answer is just to break these in without any lube at all. This has no lube on it, no adjustments, nothing. So, yeah, that might be something there. Okay, got that one. So just in the restoring the cubic step, which takes a bit longer because of that slice layer, because now I have to fool around with these little leftovers from the slice layer and get these all going again here. Now, what can happen is you have one center and you don't have any more centers to use. So what you do, you're always going to have a pair of unneeded, an unneeded edge here. No, really, you're always going to have a pair. Where's the other one? Okay. Oh, okay, well, we have the one there. Well, that's weird. Okay. Anyway, what you do basically is you bring it up, you orient it, and then you bring it into position. Okay. The problem I'm having is that that's kind of weird. Well, that's a thing about puzzling. It's just sometimes it tests your assumptions. I always assumed that condition would. I'd always assumed that you'd end up with a pair of edges whenever you had blocked one like that. But oh well. You know, I'm learning something while I'm doing a demo, so okay, yeah, and edge, and yeah, so this edge belongs right there. The problem I have is that the way I always do this is to put another one over there. Oh, okay, yeah, of course. I guess I have to make my own. Okay, and of course now I have to flip that around. There we go. So that one's good, and I'll flip that around, and that one's good. And now I should, yeah, okay. And then I have an edge, and okay, but now I have a center that I can't really use. Ugh, this is ugly. I've never had this happen before. Okay. Okay, well, what I'm thinking then is that we must just be kind of off somehow. That didn't help at all. Wow, I'm just... Okay, what I'm going to do then... I'm going to... Yeah, okay, I'm going to swap. Yes, so I'm going to swap this with one of those. Okay, and I think this will give me that extra edge and center that I need. Okay. Let's see how we did. There we go. Alright, so that was a long way about it, but we got it. Now this is I already have, so I'm going to keep that. That's what I'm trying to make, is those in corners. I'm going to flip this around, and so I can use my little algorithm to make those into centers and corners. There we are. So now I have that and that, which will serve me well. Okay, and then I just want to reorient that corner right there because it's bothering me. Being misoriented. Okay, and now okay, so we still have this. And depending on the situation, we may or may not just, we may be able to fix it with some slice turns, or we may just have to do an algorithm or something like that. Kind of hard to say. Okay, now this and this, yeah. You see, if these were like on opposite sides or something, we might be able to do something here. With this, I don't really see a lot to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and put this one in and that one in. And then we'll deal with this lone one later. There we go. Okay. So now we have this one and that one. And so the answer here is going to be to basically shift one of these, and what that does is it creates this. It also creates all of these great opportunities, and so what I want to do is put one of these on the same face as one of those, so I can make a whole flat one. There we go. So I made a whole flat one, and now I actually have two whole flat ones. And what's cool is if I put them on either side of the puzzle, and I'm just going to hide that temporarily. I'm going to flip this one down. So now this is on one side, that's on the other. And now if I rotate the puzzle 180 degrees, I still have my flat ones, but I've made myself a whole one of those as well, and a whole one of those as well. Okay, so now these are kind of out of phase here, so we're going to have to do it in 2 steps, but still, you know, now it's just, this is a routine. This is the routine fix here. We're just going to go this way, that way, that way. Okay, I'll just put these in, and now we're left with a very classic situation, which is the single and the single. And so yeah, I you know, it's a lot of extra fooling around with it, but it's kind of extra fun. And then when you get it back to cubic, it is just so, you know, such a rewarding thing, right? But it gets even better because as we go back to cubic, we still have more work to do. Now we have our yellow and we have our white. Those are our solid ones. Our splits are around the middle, so we don't have to worry about the edges being swapped, or the centers. I guess it would be possible for the centers to be swapped, but because we had the split, we've already been working on the split middle layer. You know, I think they would tend to be correct. But now we have to put our colors in and match them out, which means we have to get the split layer working again. You get really fast at and efficient at restoring the split layer when you're working on these. Okay, so now we get the split layer working again, and we're going to establish our centers. Now we can just establish our blue, and it's orange right here. So we'll just Put the orange in. Green right here. Yeah, this puzzle's really turning well. And red. Okay, so now we have those. So the next thing is to join up the edges, and I'm almost in a way disappointed to see one that's already done, because that's going to drastically reduce the amount of edge pairing we have to do. So can't use the top to edge pair, so I'm going to use the algorithm to edge pair. Okay, so those ones are paired, and now that those are paired, basically I'm going to flip it over so that the two sets of pairs are on one side, and now these ones are symmetrical. I have to tumble that one edge so that the pieces we want to pair are across from each other. And those are paired up. So now we have all our edges done, and we're ready to jump into the 3x3 solve. Oh, but wait, there's more, because we can't just start willy-nilly putting in our bottom cross, because these centers have orientation, and if we're not aware of that orientation, we're going to get them messed up. So we have to be really careful. So when I'm bringing my red down, I have to turn it, okay, so that it retains its orientation. Otherwise, it's going to look very strange when it's done. And I think it won't be proper if it's done with them pointing straight up. So now we have our bottom cross. And just double check. It is possible using Supercube methods to sort it out after the fact, but I'd rather just avoid having the problem in the first place. Okay, so I just doing my F2L now. Nothing. Okay, just doing F2L badly, apparently. I've been working on so many of these dodecahedral puzzles and icosahedral puzzles lately. Bohemia and the Aton star and Aton star. That I've been. So I think I forgot my my fundamentals here. Did I mention that I think I forgot my fundamentals? Yeah, I think I just... Boy, did I ever. I don't know what I was just doing there. It was some algorithm. I don't think it was one that's normally used on a puzzle. I don't know what I was doing, really. Really? No, seriously, I'm not this bad. No, honest, I'm not, really. I know how to do this. I'm just, yeah. Okay, I thought I'd gone off there for a sec, but I think I'm okay. I'm just going to swap those. That's a kind of a weird... We didn't have the flipped edge parity. It does look kind of a... strange thing, and look at that. We have our swapped edge parity. And I have my solution to that right here. And I just haven't memorized it. Because it's a long algorithm. So here it is. So it's okay, that was 2. That was 3. That's 4, and then there's one more, which makes sense, because otherwise the puzzle would be out of sorts. And it does knock out one corner, which is fine. I'll take that. And now everything should be fixed up. Oh, here we go. Apparently that wasn't soon. Alright, now. Yeah, alright. I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. I just... Anyway, somehow I managed to goof my way through that. So that was the 3x3x4, and lots of fun to solve. And that's it for the demo solves. I don't think there's, you know, this one's, you know, it's the 4x4x3. It'll just be very similar to this last one, except that I can do a bit more edge pairing if I want to. Yeah, well, that's it for me. Thanks for watching.